Imagine a world where prices never change. A dollar today buys exactly the same amount of groceries, rent, or cutting-edge tech 10 years from now. It sounds like an economic utopia, a permanent escape from the relentless march of rising costs that slowly erodes our savings. But what if this seemingly perfect scenario was, in fact, a recipe for economic disaster? For most of us, inflation feels like a constant drain, an inconvenient bug in the economic system. We see prices rise and our purchasing power shrink, prompting us to wish for a world where money holds its value indefinitely. But an economy utterly devoid of inflation, or worse, one locked into deflation, where prices continually fall, would trigger a cascade of unintended and deeply problematic consequences. Consider your own spending habits. If you knew that new car or television would be significantly cheaper next year, would you buy it today? Probably not. When prices are expected to fall, consumers delay purchases, anticipating better deals in the future. This widespread hesitation translates into a massive drop in demand across the entire economy. Businesses suddenly find fewer people buying their products and services, leading to unsold inventory and reduced profits. This lack of demand quickly freezes investment. Why would a company expand a factory, develop a new product, or hire more staff if they can't sell what they already have, or if the prices they can charge are continually dropping? Loans, which are essential for business expansion, become significantly riskier. If a company borrows money today but its revenues are falling due to lower prices, repaying that loan becomes a much heavier burden in real terms. This discourages both borrowing and lending, stifling the lifeblood of economic growth. The absence of inflation also puts immense pressure on wages. If companies can't raise prices and are instead cutting them to remain competitive, they'll inevitably look to reduce costs elsewhere. Wage freezes or even outright cuts become increasingly common. This further diminishes people's spending power, reinforcing the cycle of falling demand and lower prices. This dangerous feedback loop is known as a deflationary spiral. Falling prices lead to reduced demand, which leads to less production, lower wages, and even more falling prices. It's a downward slide that's incredibly difficult for governments and central banks to stop. Even central banks, the guardians of economic stability, would find their hands tied. Their primary tool for stimulating a sluggish economy is cutting interest rates to encourage borrowing and spending. But if rates are already near zero, or if people simply prefer holding cash because it gains value over time, that tool becomes ineffective. An economy without some positive inflation loses the vital flexibility to adjust to changing conditions. So inflation isn't just a bug, it's more like a crucial hidden gear, an economic lubricant. A small, predictable amount of inflation, typically around 2 to 3%, is considered healthy. It encourages spending today rather than delaying, it incentivizes businesses to invest and grow, and it allows for gradual wage increases. It incentivizes businesses to invest and grow, and it allows for gradual wage increases. It allows for gradual wage increases. It subtly reduces the real burden of debt over time, making it easier for individuals and businesses to manage their loans, thereby encouraging productive borrowing. This mild inflation provides just enough forward momentum to keep the economy churning, adapting, and expanding, rather than seizing up in a frozen, stagnant state. A world without inflation, far from being a financial paradise, would quickly become an economic wasteland. It's a paradox. The force we often resent is, in fact, an essential ingredient for prosperity and growth. If even a mild rise in prices is necessary for economic health, how should we rethink our relationship with the money in our pockets?